Hi everybody, this is Tim Gartland and I'm a harmonica instructor at Winchester Community Music School, and I've been proud to be associated with the school for over 10 years, and woohoo! And I'm looking forward to sharing with some of you folks out there a little bit about the harmonica, the history and the different types. So maybe some stuff you didn't know about before, and I'll do a little playing as well. So I hope you enjoy it. I've been playing harmonica since I was 13 years old. So I've been playing for like 5 years now. Kidding. Been playing for a long time, most of my life. And I started playing the 10-hole diatonic harmonica. It's called diatonic harmonica. It was invented in the 1850s by Germans, and there were a lot of different companies that were producing this type of harmonica in different styles as well. But this became the most popular, and a company called Hohner Harmonica, some of you may have heard, became the one that ended up selling the most and going international with the brand, and it's become the most successful, but there's many others that make them now. To buy a good one today, and there are a lot of bad ones, and I advise you not to do that because it'll be frustrating. To buy a good one today is probably spending about $40 to $50 in that neighborhood and up, So you can spend up to $110 for a diatonic 10-hole. But I would say like 45, 50 is probably a good number. I recommend the Hohner Special 20, it's called, and it's last time I checked like $48 on Amazon, and I'd probably get one in the key of C as well if I was just starting out. It's a very popular key. So the diatonic harmonica, that's the one you hear Bob Dylan play or Neil Young play or Mick Jagger play, so many other folks. Bruce Springsteen, maybe I met. And also, it's associated with country music and blues music as well. It's the one that's probably the most recognizable sound. And it was designed to play only the major, it was designed to play the major scale, and also to provide the ability for the player to play a chord, a major scale, the major chord in the key that it's in as well, very easily so. So the do re mi, the major scale, is right in the heart of the harmonica, and it was really designed for that real folk music type, simple melodies, but good songs. You could play, like. All right, so you could do that kind of stuff, and it's great. It has a nice sound to it, it's said that it sounds most like the human voice of all the instruments, and you are really connected to it. It's like you're singing through the harmonica. A lot of the sounds you're making are by manipulating your tongue, like when you talk, and your lips as well, and your jaw, and everything. So there's a lot of talking and singing type movements. So it is almost like you're talking through the harmonica or you're singing through the harmonica. I wrote an instructional book called The Talking Harmonica, which is available on Amazon too. Shameless plug. Or at the school, by the way. Another shameless plug. But anyway, and it is, I called it that because there is a lot of analogies between playing and talking or singing the harmonica. So the diatonic harmonica was, pretty much until about the 1880s, it was just used for these folk song type stuff. But right around then, the African American, it was later began selling among people in America, and it sold very well because it was very expensive, inexpensive, and so a lot of players, normal folks, just playing simple music or whatever, if you will, folk music, start grabbing these and seeing what they can do with them. So lo and behold, with the African American music and the spirituals and the field songs and the hollers and everything that was part of their music, which some of it was brought over from their days in Africa in terms of the percussive rhythms and fondness for the minor scale versus the major. And all that music began to evolve into what was now called the blues, and then eventually jazz and rhythm and blues and rock and roll. So the blues was the mother of all those genres, and it's an American art form. But what they were able to figure out, these early players on the harmonica, is they could bend the reeds. This is a reed instrument. If you open it up, it's called a free reed, and it has a reed that vibrates within a little slot. But they found out that they could bend those reeds and create new notes that were never designed here. And then, in fact, it's almost like this was designed to play only the white keys, and they were able, it turns out you're able to play the black keys as well and make it more of a chromatic harmonica. It was by bending the reeds to a certain pressure to create a new note that wasn't there before. And so I'll demonstrate that with one hole. It's the 4-draw. By the way, the harmonica is the only instrument which you can make music blowing and drawing. But I'm going to draw on the 4th hole, which is supposed to be just one note. It's just supposed to be that note, but it turns out by adding some pressure you can make you can lower it at a half note. So then if you go from 4-draw to that half note bend to 4-blow, that's a chromatic little runner. And so on and so forth. And in fact, every hole could be bent to create more notes. Now that's called bending, bending reeds or bending notes. Very difficult, the most difficult thing about playing the harmonica. But it's also very rewarding, and it's certainly accessible. But one thing I would tell you is, if anyone tells you this is easy to play, send them my way. we'll get them humble and thinking straight very quickly, because it isn't. It's not any more difficult, but it's about the same as every other instrument. Alrighty, so now with the bending of the notes now instead of just only playing the major scale, now the player's able to play the minor scale by bending the notes, and which is the basis basic of blues music and rhythm and blues music, and a lot of rock and roll too. So the blues scale sounds like this. All right, so that's the that makes creates the minus the blues scale has a minor third, a minor fifth, and a minor seventh, where the note is flattened to half from the major scale. So major scale, blues scale. All right. So with the blues scale, minor scale, I mean, it opens up a lot more of, bluesy melodies, because that's the basis of all the blues songs are basically blues melodies. So you couldn't do that unless you could. You can't do that unless you could bend. And so now you got this instrument. And now is the leading, one of the leading solo instruments in blues music, and it evolved over the decades, into we are now in 2020, and it still is one of the premier solo instruments in the blues. You see, hear how expressive it is too, Okay, so like I said, it's almost like I'm talking or singing through it. So the bending allows that accessibility to all those notes for you to be able to play it like that way. But I can teach good teachers can teach you how to bend those notes, and they're it takes some work, but it can be done, and you're off and going. So the other thing that this thing can do, and I'll try to roll through a couple of other techniques, but I mean, you can play with a vibrato, what's called throat vibrato. Okay. You could use your hands to create it. Use your hands, or like I said, your throat. You can play octaves, which is the same note value, one higher than the other, and this is using a technique called tongue blocking, and what you block a couple holes in the middle and play out of the sides of your mouth. And then so now you can play chords, octaves, and single notes. So it's a very interesting instrument. Lots of musical possibilities, and encourage anyone that's interested in learning more about it. Also, you can contact me through the school, and I have another minute or so I'm going to talk about the chromatic harmonica. Okay, briefly, the chromatic, you don't have to do those bends to create those half notes. All you do is you push this little button here. Okay, so in some ways it's a lot easier, but it doesn't quite have that sliding tone, bluesy sound to it. But it's has a nice, is a completely different sound, and I use this more for R&B or pop music and that type of thing. But see, that's a whole chromatic scale just by pushing this button. You hit that slide, and it does that half note for you. See that? Instead of having to manipulate your mouth to do that. But once again, this gives you, why I use this, because it gives you this gives you that, gives you that certain sound or see, this is really cool too, but it's I don't know, it has a different sound to it. But this is really useful. Literally, this is like having a piano in your hands. So that's the difference between the diatonic and the chromatic harmonica, the two most popular harps. There's all sorts of other harmonicas too, chordal harps and bass harps and what have you. But you know, it's a very expensive instrument. It's, you know, very very affordable. Even this thing, like, I think it was $180 or something, you know, versus a guitar that can be, you know, literally thousands, or piano. So anyway, it's a really interesting and cool instrument. Obviously, I'm a big fan of it since I've been doing it all my life, and hope this video was useful to you. And take care and enjoy your summer, and be well, be safe. Thanks.